Sonic.exe has a wide variety of animated content out there, but there is a series out there that I think you guys know about, and it's called... The series actually doesn't have a name. The playlist for it is called Sonic.exe, but we're just going to call it Tales' Halloween because it's recognizable, I guess. The series was made by a YouTube animator called Boombuster, and the series is about this guy getting his ass completely handed to him. All the episodes in this series have 1 million views, so I guess it was so good to a point that it got itself its own FNF mod. So I've decided I wanted to cover this series and basically do a retrospective. So let's just get right into it and not waste any time. Our first episode starts off with a title card. Every episode has a title card. It looks kinda strange. It reminds me of like Sonic Time Paradox, if you know what that is. Tails is trick-or-treating on a random street somewhere, in a Pikachu costume, but out of nowhere, as he looks around, he finds blood everywhere. This frame is so funny. Why hasn't it been turned into a meme? Maybe there is a meme for it out there. But then Sonic.exe shows up, and he's ready to kill. But Tails isn't playing around. He punches him in the nutsack and instantly runs away in the funniest running cycle I've ever seen. EXE catches up to him, but Tails pulls out a literal cross, and then this happens. The episode comes to an end with Tails just throwing a cross on top of him and walking away. That's how it ends. But oh wait, there's a post-credit scene where EXE is still alive. Overall, this first episode is pretty decent, and the animation actually didn't age all that badly. It actually looks kinda good, but definitely gets better in the later episodes. Mostly episode 3. It's only 1 minute, but as the series goes on, the episodes do get longer, and we do get some pretty good jokes out of this first episode. Having Sonic.exe get punched in the nutsack is pretty funny, and then also getting stabbed in the eye with a cross. I do want to mention I also like the weird audio mixing they did here. He has this weird slow motion laugh and then this also really interesting screaming sound. But it's overall a pretty decent first episode. There's some good animation moments in here with funny face expressions, and we do get 2 funny moments out of this. So let's move on to episode 2. So, the second episode focuses on the Red Echidna. Knuckles is just chilling out with the Master Emerald right behind him as he sleeps. He wakes up briefly and then goes back to sleep, but then wakes up again when he finds dead animals everywhere, and then Sonic.exe shows up. And we get this scene where Knuckles thinks, oh, this is just Sonic playing a trick on me.
What are you, deaf or stupid? I told you to get it off. Sonic! Either get that off, or I'll kick the spinning balls out of you! Alright, that's it! What the?
Knuckles was wrong for thinking that, and we get our first fight scene of the series. It's pretty alright. I do like the Sonic X callback that it has with Knuckles punching, but it's alright. Does get a little better near the end. We do get to see Knuckles punch Sonic.exe in the face, and we do get a joke about, like, why are your eyes bleeding as he gives this pretty funny face expression. Actually, a lot of the face expressions in this series are pretty good. Knuckles punches the invincibility box, gets all powerful, punches Sonic.exe as Ring spits out. Really nice detail. He falls off a cliff, and we think he's dead, but actually, no, he's not. So, that's the end of the episode, but oh wait, post-credit scene.
Oh, this is gonna be the best scare prank ever. Knuckles will scream his spines off going, ah!
Yeah, that's right, Sonic is an actual character in this series and not just possessed by EXE or something or trapped somewhere. So that was episode 2. I honestly prefer it a bit more than the first one. I don't know if I could say it's as funny as it. I guess they both equally have the best comedy going on. It does seem like the animation did get a bit better here, but in episode 3 it's at its peak, I have to say. It's sort of like a more stylized Sonic X, but it also has its own unique style to it in its own way. I didn't bring this up with the first episode, but I do like the lighting there. Even here too with the Master Emerald with the green effect going on. And we still got some great face expressions. I love how horrified he is when he sees dead animals, and the whole conversation he has with Sonic is just pretty comedic and something that you might actually see in the Sonic series. This episode introduces voice acting for the first time, and it's pretty alright at best. That's all I could say about it, but it does get a bit better next episode. And speaking of that, let's just get into episode 3. It took a while for it to come out, but we did get the 3rd episode, probably like 4 years later. and it's about Eggman. Eggman has a Chaos Emerald on him, and he needs to get 6 more to take over the world and stop Sonic the Hedgehog. But Deku and Boku from Sonic X, so I guess this takes place in the Sonic X timeline, or maybe a mix of the modern and X timeline, I don't know. They inform Eggman about Sonic.exe being out there, and they think it is Sonic, but it's actually not him. But then he disappears.
Sonic had never appeared like that before!
There's Dr. Ivo Robotnik.
That's strange. He always calls me an egghead.
Something tells me that's not Sonic, Doctor. You'll hand over that Chaos Emerald if you know what's good for you.
Huh? Who do you think you are, giving commands to me?
Do you even know who I am?
Some kind of dumb ripoff?
No! I am Sonic.exe, Demon of Sonic, and a god!
You? A god?
What's so funny?
That's the funniest thing I've heard all evening. So why don't you fly back to where you came from, and...
If that's how you want it, so be it. Doctor! Behind you!
Not now, Deku! Ah!
I just love this whole conversation. I feel like if they both actually met in the Sonic series, he would act this way to the guy. Eggman is mentally scarred, and now EXE is hunting down Deku and Boku for the Chaos Emerald that he has. Eggman saves the life of one of his robot companions, and we get a pretty good fight scene of EXE just taking his time beating up Eggman's robots. This shows to us that he fights completely differently from Sonic. He does kinda use Sonic's trademark speed a bit, but it seems like he just takes his sweet time beating up Eggman's robots. Yeah, he can teleport and do all that other stuff, but it just seems like he just rather would just take his time with this. It's nice that this version of the character is able to fight because you don't really see this from Sonic.exe. He feels like an actual threat even knowing he gets his ass completely handed to him every episode. One of Eggman's robot companions is sick and tired of this crap but gets punched in the face after trying to fight back. Eggman is open to get the Chaos Emerald but then punches Sonic.exe across the face, well uppercuts him basically, and then we get this scene.
How can a fat guy run that fast?
Eggman might have gotten something destroyed, but he comes back with something even better, saying that, yeah, who's the god now, baby? I'm God. And then EXE monologues about how he's gonna take over the world and get all the Chaos Emeralds before him, but Eggman just, like, flings him into space. Eggman is about to start his plan of taking over the world and getting the Chaos Emerald, but it ends with Sonic.exe still being alive, it seems. So this episode is basically the best of the series. The animation is just better, the lighting is pretty nice, and there's actually a narrative, it seems, like an actual plot going on. The last 2 episodes kinda didn't really have that, but EXE has a motivation. He kind of feels like a threat even knowing he gets his ass handed to him all the time. Eggman is pretty great in this episode, same for Deku and Boku, especially knowing that one of them wanted to fight back. But overall, I guess this was worth the wait. It's a pretty well done episode, like the best of the series, and it feels like there's a lot more to build off of with this episode. So that was Tails' Halloween. Overall, it seems like it hasn't aged all that badly. It still holds up to this day. I think the series has a fine enough ending if it even does have one, but if they do continue it, I'd be fine with it honestly. Maybe in episode 4, EXE could meet Sonic for the first time, because he's in this series, the Chaotix, Cream, Amy, maybe Shadow. It's quite unknown, but maybe it can come back someday. So, yeah, I just wanted to look back at this series about EXE just being a punching bag, a joke. So, I'll see you guys next time and bye.